Sige, thank you. Okay. So, magandang hapon everybody na mga taga-subaybay ng aking programa. Okay, good afternoon. Okay. So, tatalakayin natin this afternoon ang ating lesson, contingent liability. Ikukumpara natin ito sa probation, ano? Kasi, madalas nandito ang pagkalituhan, ano? Contingent liability versus provision. Okay, so gusto kong makinig ang boses ni... Sino ba? Sinabi ko kanina. De Guzman. Are you there, De Guzman?
Apo, sir.
Now, first, ano to? Topic ba to? Contingent liability. Okay ba ka na?
Babasahin na po, sir.
Oo.
Contingent liability. Past 37, paragraph 10 defines a contingent liability. A contingent liability is a possible obligation that arises from past event and whose existence will be confirmed only by the occurrence or non-occurrence of one or more uncertain future events not wholly within the control of entity. A contingent liability is a present obligation that arises from past event but is not recognized because it is not probable that an outflow of resources embodying economic benefits will be required to settle the obligation or the amount of the obligation cannot be measured reliably.
Okay, so this afternoon we are focusing, learning the, ano ba itong contingent liability. Sabi dito, alam naman natin yung present obligation, pwedeng provable siya to more than 50% ng kanyang probability of occurrence, pwede rin possible, less than 50%. Pwede naman remote. Kaya kapag remote, wala man sinasabi ang libro na ilang percentage para masabi mo remote. No? Kaya lang, kapag sinabing remote, medyo may kalabuan ata na mag-occur. Ano? And contingent liability ay yung mga obligations daw na possible. So less than 50% possible. Ano? So hindi siya remote, hindi siya probable. Possible. Okay. And kasi siya ay possible, hindi siya nire-recognize. Pag sinabing hindi nire-recognize, abay, hindi ka gagawa ng journal entry, hindi mo i-record. Hindi mo i-record. Kasi possible lang siya no? Hindi siya probable. Possible nga no? Possible. And yung amount ng iyong present obligation cannot be measured reliably. Cannot be measured reliably. So yun ang mga katangian. Parang obligation, masabing contingent liability. Again, possible obligation. And the amount of obligation cannot be measured reliably para maging contingent liability. Ngayon, may susunod na topic. Ano? Parang kinukumpara ang contingent liability and provision. Saan sila hindi magkapereho. Okay? De Guzman, continue reading.
Contingent liability and provision. The second definition states that a contingent liability is a present obligation. However, the present obligation is either probable or measurable, but not both to be considered a contingent liability. If
Continue.
the if the present obligation is probable and the amount can be measured reliably, the obligation is not a contingent liability, but shall be recognized as a provision. The
Okay.
treatment
So, wait. So, matapos natin basahin yung first topic, andito tayo sa second topic. Kailan sasabihin contingent liability at provision. Dito naman sa second topic, kaya sabi dito, kung siya ay probable obligation, pwede siyang maging contingent liability. Provided, yung amount cannot be measured reliably. Yun naman nasabi dito, no? So, sa unang topic, para maging contingent liability, possible. Dito naman sa second paragraph, second topic, contingent liability, sige, pwede siyang probable, provided the amount cannot be measured reliably. Yun naman nasabi dito. Or may sinabi pa dito na if the amount cannot, sabi doon sa first topic, contingent liability, the amount cannot be measured reliably. No? Contingent liability. Dito naman sa susunod na topic, contingent liability, the amount can be measured reliably, provided that the obligation is not probable. Yung mo nasabi dito. It's not probable. Kasi kung pareho magkasabay yan, both probable and the amount of liability can be measured reliably, I forget contingent liability. What you have on hand is a provision. Okay? A provision. Okay. So, yun ang first two paragraphs. Ang gusto kong marinig, yung ating nag-share ng screen, si Rain. Rain, treatment nga ng contingent. Okay, basa.
Treatment of contingent liability. A contingent liability shall not be recognized in the financial statements but shall be disclosed only. The required disclosures are: A. Brief description of the nature of the contingent liability. B. An estimate of its financial effect. C. An indication of the uncertainties that exist. D. Possibility of any reimbursement. If a contingent liability is remote, no disclosure is necessary.
Okay. So, ito na contingent liability, no recognition, ano? No recognition. Kaya lang, it should be disclosed. It should be disclosed. Pag sinabing no recognition, sabi ko nga, no journal entry, wala kang i-record. At kung wala kang i-record, hindi ma-reflect yung transaction sa financial statements. Ano ba ang financial statements? Now, statement of financial position or balance sheet, profit or loss statement or income statement, statement of cash flows, statement of changes in owner's equity, at meron pa, no? Meron pang susunod ng mga financial statements. Now, sabi dito, contingent liability should not be recognized, but should be disclosed. Okay? Ray, may tanong nga kita, ano? Ano ba ibig sabihin no? Ano? But should be disclosed. Ano gagawin ko? Or ano gagawin? Dapat mong gawin? Kung sinabing i-disclose mo, ano ibig sabihin no? Paano isasagawa yung disclosure? Ray? Ray, nandiyan ka ba? Ray?
Sir, dapat ano po, i-reveal
Sabi
gano'n.
dito, should be disclosed. Ano gagawin mo para masunod mo yung sinasabing i-disclose? Ano isa sa katuparan yun? Do not recognize but disclose.
Sir, sa
Ano
notes,
sabihin nun? Okay, very correct, no? So, correct, ano? Kasi kahit ka na may income statement, pero kang statement of cash flows, pero ang statement of changes in owner's equity, aba hindi kompleto yun, may kulang pa yun. Dapat meron kang notes to financial statements. At doon mo susulat yung mga items for disclosure. At isa na nga yung contingent liability. Okay? So, disclose contingent liability. Okay, so we go next to kung may contingent liability, this time we go to contingent asset. Maderaso.
Contingent
Nandiyan ka ba,
asset.
Maderaso?
Opo.
Maderaso.
Contingent asset, past 37,
Okay.
paragraph 10 defines contingent asset as a possible asset that arises from past event and whose evidences will be confirmed only by the occurrence or non-occurrence of one or more uncertain future events not wholly within the control of the entity. A contingent asset shall not be recognized because this may result to recognition of income that may never be realized. However, when the realization of income is virtually certain, the related asset is no longer
Oh, nawala. Wala ako marinig.
and is appropriate. A contingent asset is only disclosed when a contingent asset is only possible or remote. No disclosure is required.
Okay. Okay. So, the contingent asset, ano? Hindi yan nire-recognize, ano? No booking of any journal entry. Kaya lang, when it is probable na meron kang contingent asset, disclosure. Pero, kung ang probability ng occurrence ng iyong contingent asset is possible or remote, no recording and no disclosure is required. Okay. So, yan ang contingent asset. No recognition, but disclosure if the obligation is probable. But if the obligation is only possible or remote, no recording and no disclosure. Now, so no recognition of contingent asset until such time na meron kang mga evidence to show na yung realization no what appears to be contingent asset is virtually certain, ayan, wala ka ng contingent asset. Mag-recognize nyo ng asset at yung credit income. So, nagkakaroon ng virtual certainty ang realization ng isang asset kung may pakitang evidence, ano, na probable na hindi na siya contingent. Magbubo ka na ng asset, ano, at saka the corresponding credit income. Now we go to the next. What is this? Decommissioning liability. What is decommissioning liability? Okay. I want to hear the voice of Burgos. Are you there? Burgos. Nandiyan ka ba, Burgos? Burgos. Wala. Wala si Burgos. Okay. Marinig ko ang boses ni Espiritu. Espiritu, nandiyan ka ba?
Sir, yes po.
Espiritu. Oh, nandiyan ka na. Makinig naman namin ang boses mo, no? Espiritu. Ayun na, wala ka eh. Oo.
Decommissioning liability. A decommissioning liability is an obligation to dismantle, remove, and restore an item of property, plant, and equipment as required by the law of or contract. Dapat pa yung illustration?
Okay, continue reading.
Illustration. An entity extracts natural gas and oil in the Philippines deep. On January 1, 2017, the entity constructed a drilling platform for 25 million pesos and is required by Philippine law to remove and dismantle the platform at the end of its useful life of 10 years. The straight line method is used in depreciating the drilling platform. The entity has estimated that such decommissioning will cost 5 million pesos. Based on a 12% discount rate, the present value of 1 for 10 years is 0.322. Thus, the present value of the decommissioning liability is 5 million times 0.322 or 1,610,000. The decommissioning liability is initially recognized at present value.
Okay. Si Espiritu, Daniel ba pangalan mo?
Mary Daniel po.
Tanongin kita. Paki-explain ka nga sa amin kung anong ibig sabihin ng time value of money. Time value of money.
Yung ano po, yung nagiging value po ng isang pera sa pagdaan ng panahon po.
Oh, ano nangyayari?
Minsan po nagbabago, minsan po hindi.
Oo. Nagbabago? Okay.
Opo, yun.
So, the time value of money ay yung present value ng pera mo sa ngayon, ano? Kung yan ay yung i-deposit, ano? In some future period. Ay, mas malaki na yun, no? Kumita na yun ng interest. Equivalent amount, ano? After some time in the future period. And also, explaining it the other way, kung in some future time, kunyari, 5 years from now, nangangailangan ka ng ganoong kalaking pera, 1 million for example, abay ngayon, 5 years before, abay mag-deposit ka na ng perang less than 1 million. Siguraduhin mo lang na after 5 years, because of the future value of money, yung present value ng equivalent money mo today ay magiging 5 million yan in some future period. So yun ang time value of money. Kaya gagamitin natin yung konseptong yan sa ating decommissioning liability na after 10 years daw, ang worth ng pera ay 5 million. Pero kung yan ay at present, 10 years before, yung 5 million na yan ay katumbas lamang ng 1,610,000. At ay gagamitin natin sa valuation ng decommissioning liability. Na kung yan ay from 10 years from now, 5 million, ang decommissioning liability mo equivalent today using the present value of money is 1,610,000. So, kung yan ay 10 years, so second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, abay lumalaki ang value ng 1,610,000 such that upon 10th year, yung iyong sinimulang 1,610,000 ay 5 million na ang halaga after 10 years. So every year, lumalago. Lumalago, ano? yung, anong tawag mo doon sa lumalago para maging 5 million after 10 years? Yun ang interest. Interest. Now, kung ikaw may utang, abay, yung interest, expense mo. Ikaw ang umutang. Pero kung ikaw naman nagpautang, yung interest, income mo. Income mo. Because we are, pinag-usapan natin decommissioning liability. Ang paglago ng pera para marating mo yung 5 million. Interest expense ng business entity. Now we go to the journal entries. Screen first. Journal entries. Okay, sa January 1, 2017, yung iyong asset, no? Consisting of the kung magkano yung cash na ibigay mo, 25 million, plus yung present value ng iyong liability. Yun yun. Yan ang iyong magiging cost ng iyong asset, plant asset. And at the end of 2017, mag-depreciate ka. Mag-depreciate ka. Paano makukomplete yung depreciation? Ayan. Because over the useful life, 10 years. Yun ang depreciation. Tapos meron ang decommissioning liability. Nagsimula ka ng January 1, 2017. Ngayon, nasa December 31, 2017. So magre-recognize ka ng interest expense. Kasi meron kang decommissioning liability. Magkano? Now, given yung, yung rate, 12%. So mag-multiply yan. And it is a present value ng iyong obligation, 1,610,000 para makuha mo yung interest for the year 2017. This is 193,200. Okay? So we go to the next year, 2018, December 31. Mag-depreciate ulit. So kita nyo, same amount, ano? Ang depreciation. Pero yung interest expense po ng 2018, naturalmente, hindi na katulad noong yung interest expense for 2017. Iba na computation ito. Meron kang nagsimula ka sa liability January 1, 2017 na yun ang amount, no? The present value at 1,610,000. Nagkaroon ka ng paglago 2017 from the interest expense by 193,200. So by December 31, 2017, ang iyong liability na having a carrying amount of, yun, mag-add kayo, no? Tapos, darating yung 2018, another paglago na naman ng iyong liability, compute for the interest expense. Kaya naman ang computation, no? The same 12%, kaya lang, ano mo multiply, it is a carrying amount ng December 31, 2017, para makuha mo yung panibagong amount ng interest expense for the year 2018. Okay? Hanggang sa marating mo yung 10 years, yung iyong liability by that time, 5 million na. No? 5 million na. Napunta tayo sa pagsasettle ng commissioning liability, settlement. Okay. Claim per please settlement, no? December 31, 2026 after 10 years. The entity contracted another entity to dismantle, remove the dealing platform for 5.5 million. So medyo mahal na, no? Kung i-dismantle na, kulang pala yung 5 million. And how you record yung transaction na ito? Siyempre, i-close mo na yung nakabook na book balance mo na liability, 5 million. At bayad ka di 5.5 million. And difference, ayun ang the loss. The loss on settlement of the commissioning liability. Nagkaroon ka ng additional expense, loss. On January 1, 2017, the decommissioning liability of 1,610,000, the amount plus 12% interest compounded annually will build up to 5 million after 10 years on December 31, 2026. Thus, the commissioning liability is debited at 5 million upon reaching the time of 10 years, no? And journal entry to derecognize. Meron naman dito derecognize, no? Meaning, i-close mo na sa libro mo. The carrying amount of the dealing platform, December 31, 2026, to credit the dealing platform, 26,216,610,000. Ano ang naka-debit? The accumulated depreciation. Fully depreciated na yung 26,610,000 26,610,000 asset. Now, nakikita natin ang paglago ng decommissioning liability from the present value up to that value ng date of settlement. Now, there are instances na during the period, within 10 years, for example, ay dapat mong i-adjust yung decommissioning liability, pwede mong bawasan, pwede mo dagdagan. And how do we account or do the accounting for these changes, sino ang aking tatawagin? De Torres? Are you there, De Torres? De Torres? Wala si De Torres. Kala ko na dyan ka.
Sir, nandito po ako.
Okay. So para merong eto. Pakilasa nga, change in decommissioning liability. Kung ano sinasabi dyan?
Sir, ano po? Nasa school po kasi ako, sir.
Nasaan ka?
Opo, nasa school po.
School? School na
Opo, nasa
TCC?
po, sir.
Anong ginagawa mo dyan?
Nakatapos lang po ng event namin.
Event?
Ng ILC po.
Pwede ka bang lesson namin today o hindi? Pwede ba?
Okay lang po, sir. Magbabasa lang naman po, sir.
Ha?
Nakikinig naman po ako.
Basta mo naman, okay, so makikinig ka. Okay, so si Torres ay makikinig. Burgos. Wala ka pa ba, Burgos? Okay, sino kaya gusto kong makinig ang boses? Villegas. Are you there, Villegas?
Yes po, sir.
May basa nga.
Change in decommissioning liability under IFRIC or International Financial Reporting Interpretation Committee. 1. Changes in the measurement of an existing decommissioning liability shall be accounted for as follows. Number 1, this decrease in the liability is deducted from the cost of the asset. If the decrease in liability exceeds the carrying amount, the excess is recognized in profit or loss. Number 2, an increase in liability is added to the cost of the asset. However, the entity shall consider whether this is an indication that the carrying amount of the asset may not be fully recover- recoverable. If there is such an indication, the asset should be tested for impairment.
Okay. So there, uh, ang decommissioning liability, pwede siyang dagdagan, pwedeng bawasan. Kung dinadagdagan mo yon, ay lalaki yung iyong corresponding asset, ay baka mas sumobra ang laki na nakadebit. Ang magiging tanong, sa sobrang laki ba ng aking asset, yan ba realizable? Mare-recover ba yan? Baka naman hindi. Na kung kumantong na sa punto na sobrang laki na ng asset mo, at sa tingin mo ay malinaw na hindi mo siya mapupuli recover, marirealize, ay yun, ang tanging paraan para ma-value mo siya ng tama ay you may be consider yung tinatawag nilang impairment loss sa asset. No? Impairment loss ng asset. Okay. Yung liability, sige, pabayaan mo, lumaki ng lumaki yun. No? Pero i-adjust mo yung yung iyong asset to reflect the realizable value. Okay. So, illustration. January 1, 2017, the plant of company, 10 years old. The cost of plant is 12 million with accumulated of 4 million. So, ang kanyang book carrying value is 8 million. The useful life is 30 years. So, nag-lapse na yung 10, may natitira pang 20. And being depreciated straight line method, no residual value. Screen first. Okay. Because of the annual discount of 6% over 10 years, the decommissioning liability has grown from 1 million to 1,790,000 after 10 years. After 10 years, lumalago. So, on January 1, 2017, karoon pa rin ng discount, However, the entity has estimated after 10 years that as a result of technological advances, the net present value of the decommissioning liability decreased by 800,000. Ano gagawin mo? So, on January 1, 2017, na-discover mo na decrease in liability by 800,000. Kuha ka ng entry. Reduce the liability and reduce the cost of plant asset correspondingly. So, nag-reduce ka ng depreciable cost ng depreciable asset. At the end of the year, December 31, 2017, ay meron kang ibang computation to depreciate that plant asset for the year 2017. Okay? So, ang cost daw as of January 1 ay 12 million. And also on January 1, magkano ka? Nag-decrease ka ng liability. So, reduce ang iyong asset cost. Kakaroon ka ng net cost of asset. 11 million 200,000. And by January 1, meron kang accumulated na 4 million. So, ang book value mo, tinanggal mo na yung reduction is 7,200,000. Ay may remaining life pa ang asset mo, 20 years. No? So, yun ang magiging denominator mo. So, ang iyong depreciation for the year 2017 is 360,000. Now, so meron ka ng depreciation expense. The next item you consider, meron kang decommissioning liability. Na alam naman natin yan, taon-taon, until such time na yan ay isesettle mo na, nag-i-increase ang value niyan. At ang increase ng value niyan, yun yan ang interest. At sapagkat ang may liability, expense mo yan. No? Na dito, paano nakuha yung 59,400? Ang iyong liability as of January 1, 2017 ay 1,790,000. January 1, 2017, binawasan mo yan ng 800,000. So, as of January 1, ang adjusted niya ay 990,000. Ngayon, yan ngayon ang liability mo subject to computation ng interest for the year 2018. Given ang 6%. So, ang interest expense mo, for the year ba to? For the year 2017, ano? No? Ayan. Multiply by, makukuha mo yung 59,400. You add that to the decommissioning liability na 990,000, yun ang magiging yung bagong decommissioning liability as of December 31, 2017. Okay? So, isusunod pa ba? Sana. Problems na. So, I hope to receive your learning activities on or before deadline. And at this point, any question you may ask. Huh? And okay, Rain, thank you for presenting, for sharing. You may close the hearing presentation. Thank you. Last question. And also at this point, you try opening your camera. A portion, ayaw gumalaw. Portion wherein base naman sa pagandahan ng smile. Wala na si Rain. Rain, nandiyan ka pa ba? Okay. So, Rain, pakisuyo ulit, ano? So, na kumuha ng ating smile competition, ano? Smile test portion. Show your best smile. Nabuksan ko na yung aking camera. Ayaw pa rin ako pakita. So, super bilis ang speed ng internet to. Hindi ko nakikita sa sarili ko. Plus, di may buksan na yung mga camera. Ang akin ay sarado pa. Nawala na siya na. Si Rain. Sino may laptop sa inyo? Nandiyan ka pa ba? Nabasaw din. Naka-off camera ko. Binuksan ko na eh. Ano ba itong nangyayari? Bukas na itong camera ko. Wala na ako i-press dito. Bukas na eh. Kapag pinress ko, edi close. Oo. O sige na nga, kahit hindi na ako sino may diferensya yung side ko? Hindi ako makita. Wala na, bukas na yun. Okay. So class, your smile, be shown. Wala na kayong mga tanong. Okay, just say 1, 2, 3, smile kami. Tapos iba mo sa GC ha. Okay,